Today, we're talking about Jacob Chansley, the QAnon shaman throwing his hat into the ring. A new treatment for Parkinson's disease is making waves in the medical community. LA bridges burning down, and more, all in today's episode of the Insight Hour. What's up, internet? How goes the Monday? Do anything cool for the long weekend? I was just checking out apartments. I think I found one. Luckily, it has a gym. Finally start working off some of this stomach again. Anyways, Alice, what's up first?
Jacob Chansley, known from the U.S. Capitol riot, is aiming for a congressional seat in Arizona's 8th District, a surprising turn for a figure deeply associated with the events of January 6th.
Alright, so Jacob Chansley, better known as the QAnon shaman, now wants to be a congressman. That's right, the dude with the furry horns and the red, white, and blue face paint, who proudly stormed the Capitol with spear in hand, is now eyeing a more old-fashioned weapon, a seat in the House of Representatives.
What a twist!
Chansley has filed paperwork to run for Congress in Arizona's 8th District as a Libertarian. The current rep, Debbie Lasko, is stepping down, leaving the door wide open for Mr. Shaman to swap his bullhorn for a ballot box. Who would have thunk it? Now, in the spirit of optimism, could this be a redemption story in the making? Maybe Chansley's shift from notorious rioter to congressional hopeful shows that people can evolve. America loves a good second chance narrative, but let's be honest. Are voters really going to be able to shake the image of a shirtless, tattooed fellow with horns leading a mob into the Capitol? It's not exactly the congressional decorum we're used to.
Well, I'm glad to see you. I know. One of those. I'll give you a copy.
Or is it? What does this say about the state of American politics if the bar for public office includes storming the seat of the government? Are we okay normalizing this stuff? Or is Chansley genuinely trying to turn a new leaf here? And how will the fine folks of Arizona's 8th District respond? Will they see a changed man or just the specter of January 6th? Only wearing a shirt this time. Grab the popcorn. However it shakes out, Chansley's campaign is going to be quite the spectacle. And you can bet all eyes are going to be on Arizona come election season. The QAnon shaman campaigning for Congress? Stranger things have happened in American politics, I guess. Let the games begin!
In disturbing news out of Florida, a Miami man has been arrested for the attempted sexual assault of a homeless woman after luring her into his car. The 40-year-old victim narrowly escaped her attacker, who is now facing multiple charges. Authorities say he may have targeted other vulnerable women in the area.
Okay, so police have arrested 32-year-old Rodney Joseph for the attack on Monday. According to reports, Joseph approached the woman under a guise of offering her a ride to the nearest homeless shelter, but instead of helping, he drove her in the opposite direction and demanded she expose herself, punching and choking her if she refused. The situation escalated when he pulled out a gun and threatened to kill her if she didn't comply. Thankfully, the victim managed to break free from the moving car and get to safety, although the authorities say she sustained significant injuries. While one dangerous predator is off the streets, police suspect there may be other victims out there. The attack highlights the incredible dangers homeless women face on a daily basis. Without safe shelter, they're incredibly vulnerable to violence, sexual assault, and exploitation. A number of studies have shown staggeringly high rates of victimization amongst unhoused women, with one report finding that over 80% have experienced some form of violence or abuse. Sadly, stories like this are all too common, especially with the increasing criminalization and harassment of homeless individuals across many cities. When you're forced to live on the streets with no protection or resources, you become the target. It's no wonder many women resort to sexual sex work and depend on potentially dangerous strangers. When the whole system is stacked against you, just getting through the day can feel impossible. More emergency shelter beds, transitional housing programs, drug treatment, and other interventions could literally save lives. But more importantly, we really need to address the root causes that lead to homelessness in the first place. Skyrocketing rents, lack of affordable housing, low wages, and inadequate mental health care. I hope anyone that's been victimized by this man has the ability and courage to come forward as well. Make sure this trash is locked away for a long time to come.
A large storage yard fire in Los Angeles has caused the shutdown of a section of Interstate 10, a key traffic route. The fire, which involved pallets, trailers, and vehicles, has led to substantial damage and ongoing closures. No deaths have been reported as of recording.
Alright, so here in my backyard, Interstate 10, one of the main arteries of Los Angeles' traffic, got quite the volcanic shakeup. We're talking about a blaze that turned a storage yard into a bonfire. Smokey Bear would have some choice words for us right about now. Over 160 firefighters battled the blaze, which engulfed a whopping 80,000 square feet, nearly 2 football fields of scorching flames. And while they managed to save nearby buildings, the freeway itself suffered extreme damage. As it turns out, the fire seems to have sparked off at a homeless encampment tucked underneath the freeway overpass. At risk of sounding like a broken record, this highlights the burning issues surrounding homelessness in the underbelly of our cityscapes. These encampments, often invisible to daily commuters, are more than just clusters of tents. They're tinderboxes, prime for ignition. And this time, the embers led to a major freeway shutdown that could last weeks, disrupting LA's already infamous traffic flow. It's like the city's nightmare gridlock just got its own nightmare. But we can't forget the human impact. The incident didn't just create a road closure, it left many homeless individuals, well, even more homeless. There's a community in need of real solutions, not just redirected traffic. The fire signals a failure to properly address the homelessness crisis. More has got to be done, not just reactive responses, but proactive strategies to tackle the causes. So what's the game plan? How do we balance compassion and public safety? What steps can prevent this from happening again? And more importantly, how do we solve homelessness at its core? It's not an easy question, but next time we may need more than just firefighters.
A sad update today on a violent attack at a Las Vegas high school last month. 17-year-old Rancho High School student Jonathan Lewis has died from injuries sustained when he was severely beaten by a group of around 15 fellow students. Police are investigating and charges are expected.
Well, as it appears, the recent assault has resulted in the unnecessary death of Jonathan Lewis, extinguishing a bright future and devastating his family. The recent attack, allegedly stemming from a teenage dispute, is nothing if not inexcusable. 15 teenagers nearing adulthood at 17 years old damn well knew what they were doing and clearly felt big and grown enough to kill a person, so they're grown enough to have the book thrown at them as well. This was no childhood mishap. It was a merciless attack that claimed an innocent life. While the age of the suspects provides context, it doesn't absolve them of culpability. It doesn't diminish the gravity of the crime or the devastation it's caused. We really need to stop making excuses for violent behavior in youth. A clear message should be sent that violence will not be tolerated, regardless of one's age or background. My heart grieves for the victim's family, and as for the attackers, I hope justice is served to the fullest possible extent. Choices have consequences, and intentionally taking a life has to be met with the severest of those consequences.
A man with advanced Parkinson's disease has been given a new lease on life thanks to a special spinal implant. This device has transformed his ability to walk, offering hope to many in similar situations.
All right, hey, ending on a positive note for once. All right, so Mark Gauthier, and sorry if I said that wrong, probably said that wrong, a 63-year-old from Bordeaux, France, has gone from being practically housebound to walking 4 miles every Sunday. How? Well, that's all thanks to a little gadget that was implanted into his spine. So the implant works by sitting in the lumbar region and sending small electrical signals to the leg muscles, sort of acting as a personal conductor orchestrating every step. Mark's still in charge, but the implants, like the world's best backup dancer, make every move smoother. It's all about enhancing the communication between the brain and the legs, helping to smooth out the movements that Parkinson's disrupts. So let's compare this with some of the current treatments. The usual suspects in Parkinson's management includes medications like levodopa, which increases the dopamine level in one's brain. Then there's deep brain stimulation, where electrodes are implanted into the brain to send electrical impulses. These treatments are great, but they do have their limits, especially as the disease progresses. This new spinal implant is like the new kid on the block, showing up with some flashy new moves. It's not just treating symptoms, it's directly enhancing the body's ability to move smoothly. It's a whole new approach focusing on the spinal cord rather than the brain. Neurosurgeon Jocelyn Block and a team of Tony Starks and Bruce Banners from the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology and the University of Bordeaux are to thank for the incredible breakthrough. But we can't start the victory lap. This isn't a cure for Parkinson's just yet. It's more akin to finding a shortcut on a really long, bumpy road. It's still early days, and there's a lot more testing to be done before this becomes a common treatment. But, this is a huge leap forward, though. Make no mistakes. Just remember, it is an invasive procedure, not a magic bullet. We're on the right track. But there's a long journey ahead of us before this becomes a reality for all Parkinson patients. Real talk though, who's gonna get to dance in the new shiny tech? These treatments, especially the cutting edge ones, can be quite expensive. And who exactly plans to fit this bill? Will it be accessible to everyone, or just a select few with the thickest wallets? As we march into the era of cybernetics, pricing is going to be a massive issue. Today it's spinal implants for Parkinson's. Tomorrow, who knows? We might be lining up for our own set of cybernetic body parts, which I am all in and here for. Let's go RoboHand. And on that note, we're going to end today's episode. Thank you so much for sticking around all the way through the end of the episode. Now do me one more favor and like the button. Maybe subscribe. Yeah, if you're feeling randy. It does greatly help us out. But until next time, stay weird, stay safe, and I will see you on Wednesday.